Yan po ang aking commitment, hindi lamang po sa tao, kundi sa Panginoon na makapagserbisyo, makapaglingkod ako. Gawin na natin ang lahat nating magagawa, makatulong tayo sa kapwa para maipakita natin na tayo ay may Panginoon sa buhay sa pamamagitan ng pagkalinga at pagmamahal sa kapwa natin.
Ako po ay nagpapasalamat lalong-lalo na sa Panginoon at sa kapangalawa kay Manny Pacquiao dahil sa napakaganda ng puso niya. Bukod pa doon, binigyan niya kami ng bahay.
Yan po ang programa ko na yan. Hindi po yan proposal lamang, kundi matagal ko na pong ginagawa yan sa sarili kong bulsa, sa sarili kong pagsisikap, dugo at pawis ang aking puhunan para makapagbigay, makatulong ako sa aking mga kababayan. Kaya naman po, ang nais ko talaga na maipasa, maipatas ang Free Public Housing Act, ma-implement at maraming mabigyan ng tahanan. Nagawa ko po yan. Na ako lang, ano pa kaya ang pera ng taong bayan na dapat mabalik sa inyo. Yan po ang aking ipinaglalaban.
Daghan kayong salamat, Sir Manny Pacquiao, sa imong kaayo sa mo. God bless.
Pasalamat mi sa Ginoo nga gigamit siya sa Dios nga maluoy sa mga pobre nga sama sa amoa.
Salamat.
Pumili po tayo na isang kandidato na may tunay na malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga mahihirap at naiiwanan sa laylayan ng mga Pilipino. Wala pong ibang tinitingnan kundi kapakanan, kinabukasan ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino na naghihirap, nagugutom at wala pong oportunidad na makapagtrabaho. We are just stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Therefore, we should maximize the time, the strength, the blessings that God entrusted to us to help others para mag-glorify ang ating Panginoon sa buhay natin. In God, all things are possible. Nothing is impossible with God.
Itong pinaglalaban ko, samahan niyo po ako. Yun po ang hangad ko palagi sa pamilyang Pilipino na wala pong may iiwan. Higit sa lahat, magtutulungan tayo, magkakaisa tayo para po sa isang minimithi nating kaunlaran ng ating bansa.
Ang dalangin ko palagi na itong bansang ito maipagmamalaki ng sabayan ng Pilipino na maunlad, masaya, nagkakaisa at namumuhay ng tahimik. Si Manny Pacquiao po, number 50 po sa balota.
Alba. Oh. That's unfair, and Alba 7 points in the game. To Del Fuentes. Oh, wow. Sarangani makes the shot and knocks it down. Bologna is open. 3-point. Oh, my goodness! He's a jumper by Robin Celis. Natalgero has time. Turnaround jumper. Oh my goodness.
For the second time this week, we are back here inside the Paco Arena in the heart of the nation's capital here in Manila City for another triple header dito sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. RV Bringas was the best player of the game for Sarangani in their last game. Si Enzo Serrano rin naman ang best player ng Abra in their last win against the Bataan Risers where they stopped the 3-game winning streak of Bataan. ang ating triple header ngayon. Sarangani versus Abra first at 6 o'clock. We have the Ilagan Isabela Cowboys going up against the Zamboanga Sikat. And at 8 o'clock p.m., the Quezon City Galleries Taipan is in neutral grounds against the Manila Batang Quiapo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 50 of the 7th season of your MPBL. This is Javi Palanya on the call, joined by Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, this is going to be a very interesting matchup dahil itong Abra, they're on a 6-game winning streak while Sarangani has won 2 of their last 3 games.
Yeah, they're actually 2 of the 4 teams that would want to advance and continue with their win streak. Samantalang yung later game natin, want to break a losing streak naman yun, game 3.
Mapapanood nyo ang Liga ng Bawat Pilipino on our Facebook and YouTube channels as well as on Solar Sports every Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. At syempre, kasama natin ngayon sa panel of the third member, Miss Lyra Punsalan. Lyra, good afternoon to you.
Magandang hapon, Javi and Coach Mike. Truly exciting to have Abra Weavers for our first game today with a strong standing of 8-1. Nabanggit nyo nga kanina. Sabi ni Coach Yong kanina, hard work beats talent pa rin talaga. Dagdag pa niya, alam mo Lyra, I'm only here to help them sustain their performance and energy dahil ready-made na sila at hopefully madala nila yon hanggang championships. If there's one thing na alam ng mga players ko, kahit anong mangyari, ayokong natatalo. For Coach Jay on the other hand, may pa-happy dance pa siya because for him, a win is still a win despite winning against Bulacan Cuyas, and hopefully masungkit daw nila today ang second consecutive win nila. Let's see how that turns out. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Lyra. Well, maganda nga yung sinabi yun ni Coach Yong dahil itong Abra, they are really ready-made already, one of the strongest teams that we have so far in this tournament. Tingnan muna natin ang mga resulta ng mga laro kahapon that happened at the Pasay Astrodome. It was an exciting set of games. Of course, Nueva Ecija romped over Bulacan 98-50. Jensan with a surprise victory against the Pangasinan Heatwaves. And Coach, you called this game with Bosedel Pasay losing on their home floor to the San Juan Knights.
Really was that last game really was a matter of the last 3 possessions, execution, defensive stops, but what a way for the Knights to execute and steal that win and end that winning streak at home floor para dito sa Pasay.
Kaya tingnan natin ngayon kung ano nangyayari sa ating team standings beginning with the Northern Division. Coach, talk to us about the situation dito sa ating Northern Division where Nueva Ecija and San Juan continues to remain unscathed.
Oo, unbeaten pa rin itong Nueva Ecija at San Juan. Samantalang itong Abra Weavers, katulad nga sinabi mo kanina, they're on a 6-game winning streak. They want to get another one and continue with that streak. Isabela naman later on, that Ilagan team would want to build on that win against Batangas as they go up later in the second game. And itong QC in Manila, parehong coming off a losing streak, gusto makakuha ng panalo.
And dito naman sa Southern Division, Coach, masikip na rin ang nangyayari ditong sitwasyon. Well, Quezon is still on top at 8-1.
Oh yeah, and the one thing that's really surprising here is Zamboanga Sikat. They are overachieving in my opinion, and I think there's a lot of still upside that we will see on this team. They're on a 3-game winning streak. And itong Sarangani Marlins, like what we told you, that previous game, they want to continue to build and get a second win again.
It's really been a struggle for them, especially at the start of the season, but they've started to get victories. Dalawa na nga. They've won 2 of their last 3 games, including this last game against the Bulacan Cuyas, where they rewrote the record books and established the highest points scored by any team at 148 points, breaking San Juan's 146.
Matter of fact, third quarter pa lang, 107 na yung score nila. At the end of that quarter, 107 and 79. 7 players actually in double digits, scoring led by, of course, by RV Bringas, who had 30 in that game. Well, field goals, pretty good. It was a plus 39 in attempts. You know, a double-digit advantage in all these stats that you're seeing. We don't even want to discuss it because it was pretty much a lopsided win para dito sa Sarangani.
And here are the records broken in that game, Coach. It's not just the most points scored in a game, but also the most assists made in a game. Parehong records yan. Both belong to the San Juan Knights before, but now it is with the Sarangani Gripper. 49 assists to break the record for Kit Jimenez and company. And that's certainly going to be a big confidence booster in this game against the Abra Weavers, who are riding high on a 6-game winning streak. They won their last game against the Bataan Risers. They snapped the Bataan Risers' 3-game winning streak in their last game, 96-74.
It was actually not the start that they wanted. Bataan actually led in the first quarter, 6-13 mid of the first quarter, but you know, Batino and Taiwan led that charge, recovering that quarter, leading at the end of the quarter. In the third Encho and Marky really big in those final 2 quarters as they pushed that win all together para dito sa Abra Weavers. And very good shooting, advantages on rebounds, and the bench points has been pretty big para dito sa Abra Weavers.
Well, it's slowly coming together para dito sa mga bataan ni Coach Yong Garcia, and he expects another great game today against a very hungry Sarangani squad. Let's get the show on the road. Let's go to Richard Tampos.
Afternoon, so glad you're here at the Paco Arena in Paco, Manila for today's first match. Sarangani versus Abra. This is the 2025 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 7. To begin with, here's the starting lineup for Sarangani Gripper. Playing as center number 13, Koy Alves. Power forward number 16, RB Bringas. Point guard number 30, Charles Caliano. Two guard number 52, Lars Sunga. And at forward number 17, Orin Katakutan. Sarangani Gripper is led by John Calios. His assistants are Joshua Inocentes, Jock Labrador, Jeff Cleopas, John Covarrubias, and Lawrence Lopez. The team manager is architect Andrew Bellarmino. Now the starting unit for Abra, Solid North Weavers. Power forward number 24, John Utuba. Coming in at center number 9, Raven Gonzalez. Two guard number 5, Joshua David. Point guard number 4, 1. Starting at forward number 1, Dave Ildefonso. Their head coach is Yong Garcia. His assistants are Denog Miranda, Don Uro, and Edsel Balenya. The team owners, Cap Jaja Bernos and Co-Mayor JB Bernos.
Let's meet our starters for both squads playing here in our first game. Our starting 5 brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. The Gripper will be beginning things with Charles Caliano and Lars Sunga in the backcourt. Koy Alves is the man in the middle. RV Bringas, their leading scorer. And the first game of Orin Katakutan for Sarangani this season. Sa kabilang panig naman, Marvin Taiwan, Joshua David, Raven Gonzalez, John Uduba, and of course, Dave Ildefonso. Those are the starters for the Abra Weavers and Coach Yong Garcia. Dave Ildefonso has slowly become the face of this franchise along with Enzo Serrano, and they've been playing great music together along with all the other pieces that they built in the offseason.
Yeah, and why not? Dave Ildefonso, the minutes that he's getting, really a lot of output for the Abra Weavers, and lalo na defensively, you know, he's helping out big for the Abra Weavers.
At ang maganda dito, Coach, sa Abra, despite them having a lot of big names, they're playing for each other, Coach. And that's the reason why they've been getting these victories. And hindi lang sa basta-basta mga panalo, it's been wins in convincing fashion.
Agree. And, you know, for you to play a very good defensive scheme, you have to have that togetherness. And yan yung nakikita mo dito sa Abra Weavers. And what we're seeing so far, they're number 1 when it comes to rebounds, and they're number 2 when it comes to allowing very limited points to their opponents. And so if you're close out defensively with a good rebound, then you're doing a good job on the defensive end.
However, in this possession, they turn it over. That's a travel laban kay Raven Gonzalez. Barely a minute into our first quarter, wala pa nakapuntos dito sa parehong kupunan. Charles Caliano will walk it up here for the Sarangani Gripper. Alves on the right side. Bringas averaging 12.3 points per game. They go to Katakutan, who seems to like that matchup that he has against Marvin Taiwan, but that's going to be an offensive foul laban kay Orin Katakutan.
Yeah, definitely an offensive foul for Orin right there. He just went right through Marvin Taiwan, and not even trying to front him that aggressive, but you know, getting in there and getting that offensive foul.
But talk to us, Coach, about how big Orin Katakutan will be in helping Sarangani sustain this kind of momentum that they are on right now?
Well, I think one of the reasons that they got Orin katakutan is yung activity niya pagdating sa offensive side of the floor. Alam naman natin kayang tumahin yan eh. Put the ball on the floor, try and create, get some paint touches, see other openings for his teammates. And, you know, him playing alongside Kit Jimenez would really help a lot offensively. And huwag natin kalimutan, sa lakas ng katawan niya, kaya rin dumipensa ito ni Orin katakutan.
It's going to be exciting as he tries to match up against the strong wings of the Abra Weavers, of course, led by David Defonso.
Agree.
Alves on the block against Buduba. Gonzalez is ready to help. He pulls down that rebound. Joshua David off and running. Good transition defense for the gripper. Taiwan, the spin, the shot off the glass and in. We begin our scoring festivities with that jumper by Marvin Taiwan.
Walang problema yung adjustment na yun. Alam natin to si Marvin Taiwan. Much as he's playing a point guard here for the Weavers, for the most part, ano yan, wing yan, scoring guard yan. So, walang problema yun.
And this is the defense that you've been raving about, Coach. The second best defense in the league. Forcing a turnover there, that was Josh David getting the steal and the score para sa Abra. 4-0 to begin this game.
Yeah, and they're so good. They're allowing only 67 points rather for their opponents. And so if you're going to be going up against these guys, you better make sure that the ball is moving and your guys are moving around the floor.
Taiwan sowing his way past the defense, locating Joshua David, who cuts through that baseline. That's going to be a foul against RV Bringas. Got this fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker every day karaoke.
He saw that move going middle and Galliano was thinking na dun nga pupunta pero set up lang yun para sa spin niya on that left side going glass in the back.
David misses on his first free throw. Fresh off a stint in the UAP with the De La Salle Green Archers, who had a maiden finish to my UP Fighting Maroons in the last UAP season.
That's okay.
Well, they won the championship in the season previous.
Right.
He splits his charities. It's 5-0.
Interesting matchup right there.
Orin Katakutan gets his first bucket this season by way of a three-point shot. Ildefonso strong to the rack. And he's going to go to the line for 2 shots. He is just so deadly when he gets that step on his defender.
Oo, tsaka pagka meron na siyang momentum pababa, full head of steam, mahirap nang pigilan niya. Kaya sa ibabaw pa lang, kailangan sine-check mo na siya. Try to slow him down a little bit. But something's easier said than done. Lakas rin kasi ng ang katawan nito ni Dave, and he's got pretty good handles.
Correct. Ildefonso, one more free throw para sa kanya. We'd like to thank LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. That's a rare miss coming from the former Ateneo Blue Eagle.
65% free throw shooter. Si Dave. Playing both ends of the floor.
He has all the attributes to be successful on both sides of the basketball. And we're very lucky to have him dito sa Liga ng Bawat Pilipino. That's Orin Katakutan missing the defense of Abra, getting lost in the shuffle. That could have been an easy bucket para sa kanya, but he just muffed that chance.
Definitely, we didn't see any lift that much. Ito, nakakashoot siya ng 3-point dito against Dave.
That's our 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances.
Wala masyadong lift yung tira niya, no? Even on the follow-through, on the putback.
They obviously baby that shot, and that's gonna merit a substitution for Kit Jimenez. Ildefonso. That's a foul before the shot. That shot will not count. And Sarangani already in the penalty, coach, this early, so nevertheless, he will still get 2 free throws.
Well, you get early into the penalty, you know you're in trouble, no? Because itong Abra Weavers na to, they get really good opportunities on the line, and they make the most out of it.
Especially that hindi naman ganun kalalim ang frontline rotation nitong Sarangani gripper. And there you see Coach Yong Garcia and the numbers of David Defonso this season. Almost 15 points per game, 6.9 rebounds. Sabi na nga ni Coach Mike kanina, 65.1% from the charity stripe.
Tsaka nakakapag-dish din pag may pagkakataon.
So Abra is up by 4 and they get to extend that lead as Marvin Taiwan goes to the line once again. The Abra Weavers are just suffocating these Sarangani players defensively sa backcourt pa lang.
Oh, the thing that's dangerous about the Weavers, definitely depensa.
Check out our special deal from 1xBet. When you scan the QR code and claim your special offer, Taiwan with some early production para dito sa kupunan ng Abra. Many people forget how lethal a scorer Marvin Taiwan was. Yes, he was the de facto backup point guard for Orlan Mamar when he was with San Juan. But before that, he was the face of the Navotas clutch.
Agree. And even his percentages would show that, you know, roughly about a 42, 43%, 50% field goal shooting rather, and pretty good at the free throw also. So either way, he's gonna score on you.
Sarangani with possession. Jimenez fakes the three, puts the ball on the deck. Baseline drive, locates Sunga. Couldn't get it off the back. Rebound secured by Raven Gonzalez. Ildefonso. Umatake. Ildefonso gets the 2 points.
Again, you gotta stop him real high. Because if you give him that paint touch with his really good footwork and his strong body,
yeah, you could almost kiss any chances of you stopping him.
iskurang ka na lang.
Ildefonso settles for the outside shot this time. That goes in and out. Destacamento almost had it. There's going to be a foul against Abra. Only their second team foul here in the first quarter. As we approach the halfway point of quarter number 1, Ildefonso strong to the hoop.
Well, you can do only so much drop coverage against him. You gotta check him up real high.
9-0 in terms of fast break points, and this could be 10 and 11 as Raven Gonzalez finishes on the break after the steal on RV Bringas. The turnovers piling up here for Sarangani.
And that's what we were talking about, turnovers, defense. You know, they make you feel their defense, and ang mas nakakatakot dito, they make you pay. They normally would get you about 14 turnovers on their opponents and get roughly about 18 points out of it.
Raven Gonzalez, who's been averaging 8.2 points per game, gets Abra a 10-point lead. Let's go into a break with this timeout. Up next on the schedule of the Abra Weavers, they face the Bacolod Tubos Lasers on May 19. 4 days after that, they will match up against the Parañaque Patriots, who really have been struggling so far this season. And on May 31, that's going to be a matchup that everybody will be waiting to watch. They go up against the reigning South Division champions, the Quezon Huskers, who themselves will have a rematch of the championship tomorrow against the Pampanga Giant Lanterns at the Quezon Convention Center.
Yeah, and so the game's getting a little bit tougher for the teams. Kahit nasaang ano ka pa, tier ka ngayon, because you know, yung mga games na yan na magmamatter eventually, lalo na as you head later in the season.
Another great defensive stop here by Sarangani. That's Raven Gonzalez protecting the rim. And now the Abra Weavers, they force a shot clock violation on the gripper. The points have been hard to come by for Sarangani here in quarter number 1.
3 steals, 1 block, turnovers that they forced in Sarangani, to which they got 6 points out of it already. So you gotta be mindful. Half of those points have come from points of turnover.
Diputado will come in para kay Charles Caliano. Let's see if Rev Diputado can be the key for Sarangani to gain some sort of order on their offense. But Diputado losing the ball right away. Ball is loose and Abra gains possession. Here comes David Ildefonso again. Drops it off. Taiwan just short on the push shot but gets it back. Reverse this time is good para kay Marvin Taiwan.
Even the littlest guy in that situation, just very actively pursuing the rebounds. Marin Taiwan getting that putback.
6 points in the game for the former San Juan Knight. Junji Halyare had to hang in the air. Gives it up to Bringas. Shot clock is at 9. Bringas makes a move against Gonzalez. Another block for former De La Salle Green Archer. Here's another former Green Archer. David drops it off to Uduba, who gets the deuce.
Yan isang aspeto ng laro ni John Oduba na gusto nila talagang lumabas eventually, lalo na later in the season. Defensively, he's been pretty good, but they'd love to see more scoring mula dito kay John Oduba.
Bringas taking too long in that shaded area. Buti di siya natawagan ng 3 seconds doon. Destacamento misfires from the perimeter, and there's gonna be a foul laban sa Sarangani, which means another Abra player will through to the free throw line. This is our assist of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
And because that's Joshua David that's driving, you definitely are gonna have a second guy coming in to help out defensively.
John Oduba is our guest at the charity stripe. He cans the first. Uduba with 3 points so far in this game.
Contribution talaga ni John, karamihan nasa rebounds. See that number right there. Almost 5 per game.
Misses on the second but keeps it alive. Another possession for the Weavers. They've had so much more than Sarangani here in the first. Fadeaway jumper, Ildefonso could not get that one to drop. David from downtown, yes sir!
How much as we harp about scoring from points of turnovers para dito sa Abra Weavers, kadalasan sa 2-point area nila kinukuha yan. Rarely sa 3. And so the threes are something that they really are working on, speaking of the Weavers.
Jimenez answers back with a 3 of his own on that deep left corner pocket.
Parang hindi nawala.
That should get him going in this game. He had 15 in that game against Bulacan. 15 rin ang inahabol dito ng Sarangani. Can they get a stop? Ildefonso, his version of a 3-point shot will not work. Rebound for Sarangani. No numbers for the gripper. Jimenez had to pick up his dribble. Still a lot of time on their shot clock. Kit working against the defense of Josh David. Destacamento on the short roll, gives it up. They kick it out to Diputado. Attacks middle. Halyare, short stab is good.
Wow, and that ball went all over the place until it found the hands. And that finish para dito sa sa gripper.
Taiwan gives it up. Gonzalez had to adjust but still manages to get the basket.
Kahapon we were covering San Juan. We talked about Kalisaan being a guy that when he catches that ball on the paint, talagang di-dribble ng isa at i-score. Very similar dito kay Raven Gonzalez. A lot of similarities. Siguro mas malakas lang yung katawan ni Mike Kalisaan than Raven, but almost identical point of attack for them.
This is our play of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. And the moment that Raven Gonzalez gets to feel more games here in the MPBL, he will be an even more unstoppable force, just like how his team has been the last 6 games.
Oh, tama ka dyan, Abby. Lalo na ito, parang at a very early age, he's become the focal point of the Abra Weavers, and I'm sure he's gonna grow into that identity and maturity of being one of the top guys of a team, in this case, the Abra Weavers.
Alfred Batino checking in for the first time para sa Abra, along with veteran Marquis, the living legend of the MPBL. Ildefonso gives it up to David. Rhythm dribble, takes the shot. This time it's no good. Destacamento had a hand on it. Ball is on the ground. Marquis still chasing for those loose balls. Ildefonso, top of the circle trifecta. That's long. Richard Velches tried to track it down. David also tried to save it for Abra. But in the end, Sarangani will be getting possession.
Yun yung mga pagkakataon talagang pagtatrabahuan ito ang Weavers. Maraming beses na makita nila halos wala silang bantay sa threes because alam nila ang kalaban nila, yun ang Achilles nila.
Still a 15-point lead that Sarangani is trying to overcome here. Velches, it's a push down low against Marquis. He will get 2 free throws.
Yeah, Velches got that step ahead of Marquis rotating. So eventually that foul.
Richard Velches Isa rin tong naging kasama ni Kit Jimenez dun sa Mavs Phenomenal Basketball. Big YouTube sensation, these two guys. Free throws in this game so far, Abra is 60%, 6 out of 10, while Sarangani is 1 out of 2 after that conversion by Richard Velches.
So sila Velches, Orin, and yung mga bagong additions dito sa Gripper. Velches played the last time.
Well, Velches has been with the team, I think, since the start of the season.
Okay.
Si Orin lang talaga ang naglaro ng
bago.
kanyang first game this afternoon. And so Serrano, if you think that your problems with David Defonso had ended, in comes Enzo Serrano para sa Abra. At they get a stop here talking about Sarangani. I don't know what Kit Jimenez was planning to do with the basketball there. Almost a turnover once again for the Gripper. Luckily for them, there's a foul called against the Weavers.
I do agree that there are 4 dark shirts inside the shaded area. Capable of pulling up instead of forcing himself inside the paint.
Jimenez trying to unlock his only quadruple double.
Oo nga pala. That was last season, ano?
That was 2 seasons ago.
Oh yeah, 2 seasons ago.
Or I think 3 if my memory serves me right. Basta that was before he went to the PBA for San Miguel. One of the reasons why he got drafted. Baseline inbound para sa Abra. Under 50 seconds to play in quarter number 1. Corner setup for Enzo Serrano. And it's going to stay with Abra. Enrico Joaquin Garcia, rarely used this season, averaging 4 points per game para dito sa Abra. Given the chance to show his wares in this game by Coach Yong Garcia. But that time, Enzo Serrano, his 3-point shooting has improved dramatically over the years, Coach Mike.
Oo, totoo naman yan. And I think that that's something that he really has to shore up para sa Weavers. One of those guys that can improve on that department.
Another turnover for Sarangani. That's 9 total already. The Weavers with a chance for this quarter's final shot. Serrano against the Stacamento goes up, got blocked, got his own miss, gets fouled on the second serving.
Again, pangalawang beses na yan nakita natin, yung pinakamaliit na player inside the paint was actually the one who caught the ball. A lot of, really just more activity once that shot goes up. And so, itong Sarangani Gripper got to do a better job of boxing out.
Imagine already 26 points in this quarter alone. Could end up with 28 itong Abra after these 2 free throws by Enzo Serrano, who's shooting 65.5%. Same as David Defonso from the 15-foot parallel this season.
Parang yan na yung halos nagiging norm ng scoring ng Abra Weavers. Roughly mid-20s or high 20s.
Every quarter, no?
Every quarter. I think the only time that they got lesser in their last game against the Bataan was the second quarter where Bataan made a good run. They scored only 18.
Offensive rebound. That's Mark Yee getting it with a reverse after those 2 missed free throws galing dito kay Enzo Serrano. Dominant showing for the Abra Weavers, who are looking to extend their 6-game winning streak here this afternoon against Sarangani. Those are the important numbers na kailangan natin pagtuunan ng pansin dito, Coach. 13 fast break points and 14 points inside the paint.
Well, a lot of that has really come from missed shots to which they tried to push the ball the other end. And yung pangalawa naman, yung points of turnovers. How many times did you see moves like this? Raven Gonzalez getting in, David Defonso getting his way. You got to do a better job if you're Sarangani to stop these Abra Weavers.
28-9 after the first 10 minutes of action. Magbabalik ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
50 ang numero, pero 100% maglilingkod para sa masang Pilipino. Edukasyon, hanap buhay, at pabahay. Yan ang tututukan ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. I-shade ang number 50 sa harap ng inyong balota. Manny Pacquiao, Senador ng masang Pilipino, number 50 sa balota.
Enzo Serrano in their game against the Bataan Risers wound up with player of game honors. He had 16 points, 11 of those coming in the third quarter. More about the former Pampanga Giant Lantern from Miss Lyra Punsalan.
Kung meron daw culture na talagang dinedevelop ang Abra, ayun ang masanay na huwag mamili ng kalaban. For Encho, bonus lang daw ang mga best player awards niya because he has nothing to prove, and in every matchup ay goal lang talaga niyang suklian ang tiwala ng Abra for choosing him. Sa mga training, hindi daw siyang gaano umiimik, and that's why it's a personal challenge for him to lift the energy in the team bilang isa nga daw sa mga kuya na tumatayo para sa kanila. Imprinted na raw sa utak nila at niya ang killer mindset palagi sa laban dahil tulad nga ng sabi ni Coach Yong, ayaw nilang natatalo, so we can expect nothing less from the Weavers today. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Lyra. Imagine mo, dito sa team na to, si Enzo na isa sa mga kuya.
Yeah.
And that's how young they are, but they've been playing so well as a unit. Nakikita mo talaga that they've been working hard to really gel and get their chemistry going. These are a lot of talented guys, including that guy, CJ Austria, another former Lasal Green Archer.
And what you love about that last play is that ball moved from left to right until that strong finish by CJ Austria. Very similar DNA, I guess, with Joshua David. Guards that have very strong body that can finish through contact. That's what makes it tough to go up against them. Kaya naman yung mga paint scoring, ika nga, para dito sa Abra Weavers talagang napakataas.
Almost 6 points per game for CJ Austria this season. Misses from the free throw line. If there's one Waterloo for Abra this afternoon, it's been their free throws. Now 6 out of 13 from that area.
Them on the average, roughly about 61% shooting yan para dito sa Abra Weavers, and you gotta do better than that. Normally they get, what, 22 attempts, and they make 13, 14 out of it. Sayang rin yung 8 points na yun, di ba? Lalo na in crucial games.
This is a 21-point lead that Sarangani is trying to overcome. They've been looking for answers, but most of the time they've just been hounded with more questions. Can this second quarter actually be the time that they make this into a more competitive ball game?
Tsaka yung scoring nila, mostly solo scoring, no? Like this one right here. That's just a straight-up shot by Kit Jimenez. Ball's not moving around, guys really just standing.
Kit's missed his last 2 shots from the outside. And funny that you mentioned that ball hasn't been moving around para sa kanila. That's after they established the record for most assists in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
They had 49 against Bulacan.
The irony of, you got to do that against the top teams. And this is a good opportunity to showcase sana for them, di ba?
Jimenez isolated against Garcia. Kit sees
pass.
Lars Sunga. Shot from the outside, no good. Nagagawan pa doon si Batino at saka si Serrano. And so nobody stopping the basketball. Shifts hands. Gets fouled in midair. And he will take 2.
I don't think anyone stopped the ball up from Sarangani on any dribble penetrate by the Weavers. I mean, they've had their way.
That's been the case since the first quarter. In the first quarter, for the most part, Dave Ildefonso was just going to the basket with reckless abandon. Dito naman, pumalit si Enzo Serrano. Same thing. And that's the reason why Sarangani has found themselves in this deep hole they are in right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's actually 2 ways that you can score in the perimeter. One are the paint twos and the non-paint twos. A lot of the scores from Abra Weavers right now coming from the paint twos.
That free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Once again, Enzo Serrano failing to capitalize on his opportunities from the free throw line, which is why Sarangani will get another crack at it here. At may foul pa na maitatawag laban sa Abra. Is it gonna be against Enzo? Not too sure who the foul was against.
We didn't hear that too.
But definitely it's against Abra. Halyare is the one setting up the table here. Jimenez hands it off to Martin Gozo. Another scoring threat para sa Sarangani. Sana ba makakabutas dito para sa Gripper? He loses the basketball. The defense by Abra has been unforgiving, which leads to this CJ Austria basket.
Yeah. Tight and screw defensively, get the steal, push the rock, score of turnovers on a paint 2.
Lars Sunga fakes the handoff, makes the attack on Marky. Goes up
Oh,
strong.
man.
Access denied by the living legend. Serrano. Bumubulusok. CJ Austria. Once again, just lurking in that dunker spot.
Oh yeah, and every turnover that they forced, they scored the other way.
Barely 3 minutes into the second quarter. And Abra, once again, topping up their fast break points. This fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X-Play on-the-go speaker. Take your music anywhere. Abra has been taking the ball anywhere they want to in this game against Sarangani. They are up 35-9.
Para sa 100% pag-unlad,
15 si Manny.
para sa 100% pagbabago,
15 si Manny.
para sa 100% paglilingkod,
si Manny.
Manny Pacquiao. Para sa 100% Pinas.
50 ka.
50 tayo! 50 si MP! Kahati mo, si Manny!
Back inside the Paco Arena here in Manila City, and out of the timeout, Sarangani turns it over again. That has been nothing new in this game, but they get the ball back. Calyare with an open lane, finishing over Batino. Could that be a sign of things to come for the Gripper?
Well, that's the hope that start things well and start to recover.
Serrano, the pirouette, short on the finger roll, but look who's there. Marky proving to everybody that he is still very highly capable of competing here in the MPBL.
No, without a doubt. Marky, quality minutes na kukuha mo dyan, and if you need veteran leadership, he definitely is the guy that you want to go to.
Calyare makes his move, gets the basket plus the foul. Junji Calyare taking matters into his own hands.
Yeah, good run here para sa Sarangani.
Making the move there on Enzo Serrano, and the swipe galing kay Enzo merits him his first personal foul. No, sorry, his second already in this game. He was called for a foul earlier. 24 pa rin ang abate dito ng Abra Weavers. More than 3 minutes gone by in quarter number 2.
Sumuna na yung Sarangani.
That push shot by Serrano is no good, but he gets the ball back. Still no good on the second try.
But very makeable shot, para kay Serrano.
And Sarangani was just standing around waiting for the basketball to fall into their hands, but this time Lars Sunga showing that they too could work hard on the glass.
Maganda tong run na to. Little 6-2 run. Sarangani doing a better job finishing. But you gotta get stops.
Almost at the 7-minute mark of this second quarter, Sarangani had been scoreless, but guys like Lars Tunga and Junji Calyare have changed that para sa Sarangani. Sunga hesitated on the 3. Instead, he'll attack on Marky, try to use his speed. Batino comes swooping in for the board. 2-on-2. Austria forces the issue and draws the foul on Calyare.
And every time that you see an Abra Weaver going downhill, alam mo, very forceful yung pag-atake nila sa paint. So you have to be pretty, ready down there.
I think that's one of the things, Coach, that they realize coming into this season. It's going to be a long year, 30 teams, 29 games for each squad. It's not enough that you have those veteran names. You have to have these young legs to also try and compete and help them sustain some strong play for the whole year.
Lalo na ngayon ang mold ng mga teams ngayon. I feel if you look at the teams that are in the top tier, it's a really good mix of youth and experience, and yung mga nagpipeak na mga players in the middle. So you get that good mix at get them to play together. You most probably would end up playing still in the later in the season.
CJ Austria will come out of the game with 7 points. Quality minutes para sa kanya off the bench.
Ang magiging challenge lang siguro dyan, Javi, is yun, you pointed it out earlier kanina, yung si Encho Serrano na bata pa pero considered na veterano na, di ba? How do they quickly embrace that and how will they model that role for their team?
Well, so far, so good. Wala pa naman ako nakikitang masyadong problema para sa Abra, especially because they are on a 6-game winning streak right now after that tough loss to the Pasay Voyagers last March 19. They lost that game by 10 points, Coach, and I think that was a good wake-up call para sa kanila.
Oo, lalo na kay Dave Ildefonso. I mean, the way that they shot the ball, lalo na for Dave, completely turned around after that game.
Let's go to Miss Lyra Punsalan.
The man of the hour, Dave Ildefonso, has nothing but immense gratitude daw para sa coaching staff ng Abra sa pag-aalaga sa kanya, especially for the past few days at sa very welcoming environment daw ng kanyang kuponan. Very flattering daw to be receiving comments that he's in his MVP form, pero para sa kanya, collective effort pa rin daw talaga ang nagdadala sa Abra. His goal, of course, is to bring Abra to be a championship contender, to keep moving forward at mag-improve pa ang personal na laro niya. If there's one thing that he likes to prove sa mga fans niya, ayun daw, ay MPBL is a league worth fighting for, and it's the best outlet for him to bring his A-game. Having Coach Mike?
Maraming salamat, Lyra. Excellent report there. And, you know, Dave Ildefonso, this guy easily can generate some monstrous numbers, Coach, but his averages this season not really very eye-popping. He's bought into the team's system.
Oo, yun ang kagandahan doon. Ika nga, hindi ako yung superstar dito. Giving the ball and I figured out a way how to score. He's just within the flow of the system, and I guess that's really how they built this. Coach Young and the rest of the coaching staff have really made sure that the guys are bought in to the system on both ends of the floor.
And that's just so impressive coming from a young player who's already had experience playing overseas, has played for the national team. Dave Ildefonso has just exemplified great humility dito sa kanyang first season sa MPBL.
Tama ka naman doon. Tsaka napaka-importante niyan. And the thing is, you're really seeing that in Dave, the humility that you were mentioning. But when it comes to compete, he's never short of it.
Check out our special deal from OneXBet when you scan the QR code and claim your special offer. They go inside to Yusuf Taha. Easy pickings for the big man.
Yes, Yusuf, maganda rin na magiging pangangailangan nila dyan later in the season. A lot of paint action could happen, especially when you get into the playoffs.
Caliano out to Destacamento. The kick out to Katakutan. Puts the ball on the deck. Katakutan, slow drive to the basket, but just gives it away. Ildefonso with the basketball. Gives it up. Garcia from downtown. Off the heel. Taha able to get a hand on it, but could not secure the offensive rebound. Sarangani will set things up. Katakutan has not made a good account of himself here in his debut game yet. Bringas doesn't go for the three. The handoff to Caliano. 9 on the shot clock. That's off the mark para kay Charles Caliano. Gonzalez gets it to Redel Fabro. Garcia inside to Yusuf Taha. That's a travel.
Right?
Shuffle this pivot foot there.
Humakbang muna bago drinable. Kanina na-mention mo si Orin Katakutan. Mukhang he's still out of sync. He's trying to calibrate himself. But I say that because I compare him from last season. He was pretty good. And medyo may slowness ka nakikita sa kanya, but the skill is there.
Guys, a deadly score. You look at the turnover story here. 12-5, Sarangani already with a lot of giveaways, and we still have 3 minutes to play here in the first half.
That's 12 points of turnovers. And the very few times that you get to play defense, hindi nakakakuha ng points from that turnover itong Sarangani.
Malakas ang three-pointer ni Dave Ildefonso. Destacamento on the run. He barges in to Jorel Gonzalez. That's going to be a foul against the Abra homegrown.
How Gonzalez stopped that run by King Destacamento is exactly what you hope for Sarangani to do on their end of the floor.
It has been very forceful on both ends of the floor for Abra, and I say that in a positive manner. King Destacamento, 21 points against the Bulacan Cuyas, had a double-double with 14 rebounds, 5 assists and a couple of blocks. But here in this game against a very talented front court of the Abra Weavers, it has been a long afternoon for these guys.
Well, they have to make a lot of adjustments heading into the second half.
Ildefonso matched up against Katakutan. Fade away jumper is pure para kay Dave Ildefonso.
Use him on the defensive end, have him bring the ball from the back, run transition, post him up. The guy can do everything.
Without a doubt, coach. One and done possession once again for the gripper. And that's going to be a turnover para sa Abra. Nawala ang bola sa kamay. This is our play of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
You had everything in that back to the basket action. Footwork, shot fakes, finish.
Hindi man lamang tumagal ang bola sa Sarangani, which brings another fast break opportunity to the Abra Weavers. Will Lee, another homegrown, getting a basket, his first of the game. Ooh. Oh, CJ Murillo could have finished that with a basket. That was a nasty crossover that he made, a double cross. Just could not get that floater to drop. Gonzalez seeing Fabro, who locates and gives it up to Will Lee.
The Abra Weavers really just filling in the lanes as soon as they get that forced turnover on Sarangani.
This deficit that Sarangani is facing has ballooned. RV Bringas, who is Sarangani's leading scorer this season with 12.3 points per game, had 30 big points against Bulacan, 15 coming in the fourth quarter.
Grabe. Well, there were, I think, 7 players who were actually in double digits, that led by RV with his 30. And just complete domination, really, by Sarangani.
Yeah, he absolutely bulldozed his way past the interior defense of the Cuyas, which was virtually non-existent in that game. Oh, Harley Baldo. It's another new player in the game para dito sa Abra. The Weavers come up empty on that possession. A minute and 20 remaining in the first half. It has been a nightmare here in the first 2 quarters for Coach John Calius' squad.
Sumona naman ang Abra ngayon.
Katakutan, what will he do? Drives past Gonzalez, goes up for the reverse. Ball up there by Taha. They get it back. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Destacamento. That three-point shot off to the right. Murillo saves it to the bottom of the backboard, and that's going to be Abra basketball.
Well, did you see that leap by Orin Katakutan?
He's showing flashes of brilliance here, Coach, but it has been very rare in this first half.
It hasn't translated to significant contributions, scoring or defensive-wise para dito kay Orin.
Lee working the 2-man game with Redel Fabro. Goes to the crossover. Had to adjust. Natamaan sa ulo. He will take 2 shots.
And si Lias is really one of those guys, homegrown, that's benefited from the program, even from last year. And he's grown into this role. And, you know, him being brought into this situation, maganda para sa kanya. Lalo na doon sa mga iba pa mga players from Abra that are aspiring to be just like him.
Napapansin ko, Coach, from last year pa, each time na magkaroon siya ng opportunity na maglaro, makikita mo that he's a guy that always stays ready. Kasi nakikita mo, kondisyon parati yung bata and hindi siya nawawala dun sa mga gustong gawin ng kanyang kupunan sa sahig.
Making the most of yung floor time na binibigay sa kanya, which is, yun naman talaga ang kailangan mong gawin. The very few times that you get called on, you have to make sure, to your point, to be ready.
Yeah, I mean, for these players that are at the end of the bench, it doesn't matter to you kung garbage time kayo pasok or during the crucial moments of the game. But when your number is called, you have to make sure that you can perform.
Exactly. because these things matter later in the season. And
Exactly.
you know, let's face it, Abra is going to be one of those teams figuring out in the playoffs. But how far they would go is really how ready they will be by that time.
CJ Morillo gets 2 for 2 there. Sarangani is 6 out of 11 from the charity stripe this afternoon. Last shot time para dito sa Abra. Abra trying to call out Will Lee, but instead he goes to his own move. Yusuf Taha trying to follow up that shot. One fake. Couldn't get it on the hook shot. 5 seconds to go. 3 seconds. Morillo gives it up. Destacamento has time. Destacamento, that's way off the mark. And that, ladies and gentlemen, does it for the first 2 quarters of this game between the Abra Weavers and the Sarangani Gripper. It has been suffocating defensively para dito sa Abra, terrorizing Sarangani with numerous fast break points. They're up 26 points, 46 to 20.
50 ang numero, pero 100% maglilingkod para sa masang Pilipino. Edukasyon, hanap buhay, at pabahay. Yan ang tututukan ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. I-shade ang number 50 sa harap ng inyong balota. Manny Pacquiao, Senador ng masang Pilipino, number 50 sa balota.
Para sa atlitang Pilipino.
Para sa kabataang Pilipino.
Para sa kababaihan, para sa pamilyang Pilipino.
Para sa kinabukasan. At ito po ang MPBL Party List number 77 sa balota. Yan po ang aking commitment, hindi lamang po sa tao, kundi sa Panginoon na makapagserbisyo, makapaglingkod ako. Gawin na natin ang lahat nating magagawa, makatulong tayo sa kapwa para maipakita natin na tayo ay may Panginoon sa buhay sa pamamagitan ng pagkalinga at pagmamahal sa kapwa natin. Kaya habang malakas pa tayo, habang mayroon tayo, tulong tayo sa kapwa natin.
Dili na to kay mga pong kalipay nga ikaw nagahatag ka na mo og Pinoy-anan sa daghan pang mga tao. Dako gyud kayo mong pasalamat kay Sir Manny Pacquiao. Siya ang nakatabang sa among kalisod. Unsay kalisod na mo na siya mo tabang sa amoa. Dili lang kay kami daghan pa ayang tabangan, dili kay balay lang financial, grocery ana sa mga bata pud nga nanginahanglan pud og tabang para scholarship. Daghan kay ang gitabangan.
Ako po ay nagpapasalamat lalong-lalo na sa Panginoon at sa kapangalawa kay Manny Pacquiao dahil sa napakaganda ng puso niya. Bukod pa doon, binigyan niya kami ng bahay.
Yan po ang programa ko na yan. Hindi po yan proposal lamang, kundi matagal ko na pong ginagawa yan sa sarili kong bulsa, sa sarili kong pagsisikap, dugo at pawis ang aking puhunan para makapagbigay, makatulong ako sa aking mga kababayan. Kaya naman po, ang nais ko talaga na maipasa, maipatas ang Free Public Housing Act, ma-implement at maraming mabigyan ng tahanan. Nagawa ko po yan. Na ako lang, ano pa kaya ang pera ng taong bayan na dapat mabalik sa inyo. Yan po ang aking ipinaglalaban.
Daghan kay salamat Sir Manny Pacquiao sa imong kaayo sa amo. God bless.
Pasalamat mi sa Ginoo nga gigamit siya sa Dios nga maluoy sa mga pobre nga sama sa amoa. Salamat.
Pumili po tayo na isang kandidato na may tunay na malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga mahihirap at naiiwanan sa laylayan ng mga Pilipino. Wala pong ibang tinitingnan kundi kapakanan, kinabukasan ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino na naghihirap, nagugutom at wala pong oportunidad na makapagtrabaho. We are just stewards of God's grace in its various form. Therefore, we should maximize the time, the strength, the blessings that God entrusted to us to help others para mag-glorify ang ating Panginoon sa buhay natin. In God, all things are possible. Nothing is impossible with God. Itong pinaglalaban ko
samahan niyo po ako. Yun po ang hangad ko palagi sa pamilyang Pilipino, na wala pong may iiwan. Higit sa lahat, magtutulungan tayo, magkakaisa tayo para po sa isang minimithi nating kaunlaran ng ating bansa. Ang dalangin ko palagi na itong bansang ito may pagmamalaki ng sabayanang Pilipino na maunlad, masaya, nagkakaisa at namumuhay ng tahimik. Si Manny Pacquiao po, number 50 po sa balota.
50 ang numero, pero 100% maglilingkod para sa masang Pilipino. Edukasyon, hanap buhay at pabahay. Yan ang tututukan ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. I-shade ang number 50 sa harap ng inyong balota. Manny Pacquiao, Senador ng masang Pilipino, number 50 sa balota.
We're at the half between the Abra Solid North Weavers and the Sarangani Gripper. It's been a dominant showing for Team Abra in this game, leading by 26 points. They had 28 in the first quarter. Kind of slowed down a bit in the second period while Sarangani got some scoring going in quarter number 2.
Yeah, and that slowdown is pretty much very similar to that game against Bataan where they slowed down in production. Pero kita mo yung percentage ng shooting. I'm sure Abra is not gonna be still happy with that 39%. They want more. And yung nakita mong 8 offensive rebound na nakuha ng Sarangani, again, Abra Weavers would not want that. They don't want to miss out any box out. And so, look to that number na pag-aaralan rin nila ngayon. But clearly, the points of turnover, 7 turnovers forced by Abra, 14 turnovers forced by Abra, to which they got 14 points out of it.
And the fast break points have been much in the favor of the Weavers, 20-4 in this game. Sarangani is led by Junji Halyari with 6. Katakutan and Jimenez have 3 apiece, while Destacamento with 2 points. On the other side, it's been spread out evenly para dito sa Abra. Ildefonso has 8, Austria with 7, Taiwan and David each with 6. Those are 3 of the 4 starters, by the way, on that leading scorer list for the Abra Weavers. David trying to begin the second half with another 3-point shot. Instead, Sarangani gets possession. Jimenez tried a wild one. Gozum could not follow it up with a shot of his own.
Well, good saying he got pushed as he was airborne, but referees don't call that.
Ildefonso makes the move against Gozum. Pulls up, no good. Alves able to get it to Jimenez. Gozum. Sidestep. The score para kay Martin Gozum.
Oh, Sarangani playing with a lot of pace now.
Taiwan. Nagmadali doon. Uduba gets the offensive rebound. Lots of contact. No whistle blown. Sarangani trying to push, but Abra quick to get back defensively. Destacamento attacking Raven Gonzalez. Brave move to the basket there para kay King.
Well, nagulat rin si King kasi pagka-face up niya, libre yung side niya. So he went to that side of the floor.
This is our fast break of the game, brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split-type air conditioners.
Napakahalaga para dito sa Sarangani that they set the tone early in this third quarter if they want to come back. Very manageable rin naman yung deficit nila. Really just a matter of effort on their end as well. Score and then get a stop.
It's no secret that for them to try and make a game out of this, they have to be the aggressors here early on.
At saka pigilan na yung bola, mataas pa lang. Lalo na on live turnovers. See Coach Louie right there. They're gonna be up next.
Coach Louie Gonzalez and the rest of the Ilagani Isabela Cowboys will be facing the Zamboanga Sikat, who are at number 2 in the Southern Division as of the moment, trying to extend their winning run, trying to get win number 9 and get themselves closer to the Quezon Huskers in the South.
Gusto ko yung unis nila. Ang ganda.
Ganda nga yun,
diba? Ganda ng mga unis ng mga coaches ngayon.
Siyempre, coach, kasi pareho tayo. LGR din yun.
LGR din mo yun? Ganda.
Ildefonso is at the line. First free throw is good. Free throw shooting for Abra hasn't been as well in this game. Only 10 out of 22. LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Kita mo na nga yan.
Oo.
Same with the Ilagani Isabela Cowboys. Let's go courtside to Miss Naira Ponsalan.
Tila malaking tanong for Coach Jay kung bakit pinapatira na raw ang mga gripper pero ayaw pa rin umatake. He sees fear against the Weavers as a major challenge para sa mga players niya at medyo galit at frustrated na nga siya because they are really aiming for consistent wins. He pushes them to go harder more than ever, putting emphasis on Kit Jimenez with his rusty play and Oren katakutan to regain his focus back. Kailangan natin magtuloy-tuloy kaya gumalaw kayo. He said, back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Lyra. Talagang kailangan na talaga nila gumalaw. It's now or never para sa kanila as David Defonso trying to continue his impressive scoring in this game with another bucket off the glass. He has 11 so far, 3 rebounds and a couple of dimes. Destacamento stopped in his tracks by the defense of John Aduba. Jimenez hindi makawala kay Marvin Taiwan pero tatawagan ng personal foul itong si Marvin Taiwan.
Actually, kanina before the game, I got to talk to Coach John Calya to see this move right here. Little stop and fake. Pretty much David Defonso moves right there. Kanina nakita na natin yan. No?
Napaka-stable tsaka strong nung core niya. No?
Oo.
Jimenez from way downtown. He hasn't been able to connect on a three-point shot after making one in the opening quarter. He's missed his last 3 attempts. Defonso could not get inside. Taiwan will try himself. Marvin will once again go to the free throw line.
Either of those two guys that handled that ball recently para sa Abra Weavers can finish. David Defonso and Marvin Taiwan without a doubt. Nandiyan pa si CJ Austria, Joshua David. There's so many guards.
The list of offensive weapons for these Abra Weavers is just so impressive. You see here Taiwan, who has been very consistent and steady at the point guard spot para sa Abra this season, had 13 against Bataan. Coach, you have to be very happy for him. He is now the main point guard on a very loaded squad. After spending his time in San Juan being the main backup to Orlan Momar, ngayon siya ang starting point guard nitong Abra Weavers.
Yeah, on a very formidable team. And so that should help build his confidence. And again, he's part of those young guys that you expect to grow into maturity, being into a very strong team and player of contender.
There's a foul against John Aduba as Kit Jimenez tried to connect with Coy Alves on the two-man game. Coach Yong Garcia still closely monitoring his team's progress from the sidelines. Almost 3 minutes gone by here in quarter number 3. Gozum missed everything there. David walking it up para dito sa Abra. Rejects the screen. Jimenez was able to deflect the pass. Gozum outside. Caliano does it settle for the three-pointer. Off the glass, no good para kay Charles Caliano. That's been the story para sa Sarangani in this game. At susubukan ulit ng Abra na makapuntos dito. Could have been another fast break point para sa kanila. A stop for Sarangani. Jimenez gives it up. Destacamento has no options. Caliano gets it to the corner. Jimenez missing again. And this is the rusty play that Coach John Calio said in Lyra's report that Kit has to overcome. And he has to overcome it quickly, Coach. As quickly as possible. Because on the other side, David Defonso is not gonna stop trying to terrorize these Sarangani players inside the shaded area. As you take a look at their kicks, are great move of the game. Born for greatness. This guy has greatness written all over him. It's on the back of his jersey, but he is proving that he is more than just his father's son.
Agree. Tsaka makikita mo yung contribution niya dito sa Weavers and that comparison with Kit. Really parang nagbi-build up pa lang si Kit no, samantalang way ahead ang progress na nito ni Dave Ildefonso. So if you want to catch up, you gotta calibrate real quick.
Coy Alves just fouled out. And we still have 6 minutes and 33 seconds in this third quarter.
Well, that's another big guy that they're gonna lose. Good thing they still have Bringas.
There was a technical called against Sarangani, and I'm pretty sure it was against Coy Alves. That's why he picked up his 5th. vehemently trying to contest the last foul against him. Jimenez will take a seat. Aliana will come back inside. Coach John Calles having a word with referee Edmar Avis. Jimenez has greatly struggled in this game, Coach. 1 out of 7 from the field. And most of those have been bad looks from the outside. There's going to be a timeout taken here by Coach John. 30 na ang hinahabol nila dito. This is our Gixer fan of the game, born for greatness, one of our many viewers here inside the Paco Arena. We're quite back here for our first game of this Friday triple header, and while we were checking out our Gixer fan of the game, Coach John Calles has been so mad trying to share a piece of his mind to our game officials. And it looks like there's going to be an ejection here, Coach. He has not stopped here. He is definitely on the case of our referees in this game. I'm not quite sure though kung ano yung tinatry niyang i-argue.
Yeah, most probably it's the technical earlier on, especially when Koy Alves fouled out. Oh man.
His players, his coaching staff trying to calm him down here. Even Strito is already in the mix there. John Calles has just been ejected from this game. And he still continues to yap and yap. Still very much upset, obviously.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier that before the game, I actually got to talk to Coach John Calles and told him, this is a different team that you're going up against, especially you went up earlier with Bulacan Cuyas. And he says, oo, pero at the very least, kailangan tumira kami. Give us a chance to score and give us a chance to get some points on the board. Kasi kung di kami titira, wala kaming chance na manalo. I think that was the message that he relayed at the break. And so you see that very, I guess, aggressive start in the third quarter for itong Sarangani. But right now, without him, maybe he's doing this to fire up the team even some more.
Could be. Some coaches certainly have that ploy in their bags, particularly Coach Yeng Giao, one of the more prominent coaches who pull off that kind of feat in a game. This is still a long way to go para dito sa Sarangani if they're gonna make a game out of this.
And so habang si Coach John Calles livid, picture of serenity on Coach Yong Garcia. Kita mo talagang very peaceful.
In his stead, assistant coaches Gilbert Cole and assistant coach Josh Inocentes will try to man the sideline and guide Sarangani out of this deep hole that they are in. But Destacamento could not finish on that reverse. And those kinds of shot, Coach, just practically characterize how much Sarangani has struggled to put up points on the board. Precisely what we were talking about earlier when you had that conversation with Coach John.
Yeah, pretty much. When you're missing very makeable shots, then you know it's a tough game that you're gonna be into. And so unless the numbers start getting better, you know, there's very low chance that you're gonna be scoring, let alone a very defensive team that you're going up against.
RV Bringas just picked up his 4th personal foul. A lot of players for Sarangani already in foul trouble. If you just tuned in, Koy Alves just fouled out earlier. This free throw of the game brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Raven Gonzalez
Goes 1 out of 2 from the charity stripe. They are up by 34 points.
No player in Sarangani has scored more than 6 points. That's been pretty much how tough it is to go up against the Weavers. You got a number of with 3 points, but the rest, really just been tough putting that ball in the hole.
So Murillo finds his way to the cup. A rare missed coverage para sa Abra inside the shaded area. But other than that, Coach, in maybe some other instances during this game, Abra has been locked in for the most part. Usually when you have a team that's already up by this much, they put their foot off the gas pedal, magre-relax ng konti. But you don't see that from these Abra Weavers.
Right. Kasi ang Abra, they don't care who they're up against. I mean, talagang same lang, execute lang, kung ano man yung pressure na meron tayo, the force that we use on it, the aggressiveness, it's always going to be the same. And so it almost feels like they want to be a machine by the time that the games would really matter most later in the season, that everything becomes automatic and it's second nature already to these guys and this team.
Well, I think they already are looking like a well-oiled machine at this point of the season. But as Enrico Garcia joins in on the scoring party, I'm sure that's something that the Weavers would love to celebrate. Not a big picture of celebration from the bench. Alam mong tinatry nilang i-keep in yung kanilang mga emotions, but you see some smiles from that Abra bench after that Garcia 3.
Yeah, and I tell you, there's never that sense of accomplishment and complacency on the coaching staff of the Abra Weavers. Very similarly to the other top teams as well. You understand, you're still mid-season. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
This 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. That is Enrico Joaquin Garcia knocking down his first basket in this game, averaging 4 points per contest for the Abra Weavers this season. Destacamento is at the free throw line. King so far with 4 points in this game, 3 rebounds. But he has had to deal with a plethora of talented, rugged, and physical big men on these Abra Weavers squad.
It's the physicality actually dun siya nahihirapan because, very light frame itong si King Destacamento eh. So for him to contend inside, aabangan mo na lang talaga yung tira sa taas where he's got that, leap and height advantage.
Well, this big lead enables Abra some chances to try and attempt some shots from the outside. Pag-usapan na natin kanina how they haven't been able to really connect a lot from downtown, that it hasn't been a focus kind of their offense.
Right.
So maybe in these kinds of situations, pwede silang sumubok.
Yun mga importante, you get to experiment on different things. And important is it's within the flow. Marquis.
How many times have we seen that coming from the MPBL's living legend? Still at this age, so locked in, and you could even argue still in better shape compared to some younger players that we have here in the league.
Tsaka taas ng shooting percentage niya, roughly 47-48% from the field and 83% from the free throw. So you know that the very few times that he's taken shots, for the most part, really made them.
Sunga fakes out, but Tino and Lars Sunga getting a rare three-point play opportunity for Sarangani. There is Koy Alves. He's already found out he will not have any more to do in this game for the Gripper. That's a pity. And also, if you just tuned in, Coach John Calios has been ejected. Maybe he might try to light a fire from underneath his players with that kind of move. But so far, Sarangani is still down by a huge margin.
And then surely that's the hope. You have a lot of veteran players right there sitting on the bench and even on the floor. Para dito kay Coach John Calios.
Yeah, this team is certainly no pushover talking about Sarangani.
Agree.
But Abra has just been on a different kind of level, especially in this 6-game winning streak that they are in. They run another play here for Garcia, who takes advantage with another 3-point shot.
Yeah. They love to run that double cutter on the against the zone. One fills the wing and one fills the corner.
Actually kind of reminisced with that play call. That's something that we used to have against zones when we were in high school. Playing under Coach Mike Oliver. 2 cutters ang tawag namin dyan. Austria will go hard to the rack. That's with his offhand. CJ Austria is a left-handed player, but very ambidextrous when he's finishing at the basket.
Well, what you're more concerned about is that there was no defense played by Sarangani in that layup by the Weavers earlier.
Austria would like to take more time here for Abra. Serrano gets that ball tapped from behind. Sunga will push it, and that's a foul given up by Marquis to stop the fast break.
Nakita mo sa bench ng Abra Weavers, they've been egging their teammates to take the 3 already.
This is our assist of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Kung gusto mo doon sa move na yun ni Marquis, ang ikot niya papunta kagad doon sa kabilang side, looking to swing it over and reverse that ball the other side. But once he turned and he saw that defense was not set up right in front of him at medyo nakas-drop coverage ng konti si King, titirahan na niya yun.
We'd like to give a shout out to our friend, Madam Photographer Luisa Nicolsi, who's watching this game. Actually, baka nga makita natin siya mamaya dito eh.
Alam mo, feeling ko gumagawa na naman ng video yan eh.
Oo
Diba,
nga,
nag-ano
she's
siya
had a lot of video content lately.
Oh. Tsaka nagko-commentate rin siya eh.
Doon sa kanyang mga videos.
Mga videos, diba? She tries to call on the games as well on her own time.
Well, Garcia has had quite a quarter here for the Abra Weavers, to the delight of his whole squad. Look how they received him on the bench. This is the kick out. Galing kay Marquis, and the shot galing kay Enrico Garcia. Third 3-pointer here in this period. 9 points in the game para sa kanya. Abra continuing to enjoy a very comfortable advantage.
Para sa 100% pag-unlad, para sa 100% pagbabago, para sa 100% paglilingkod, para sa 100% Pinas.
50 tayo! 50 si MB! Kahati mo, si Manny!
Sarangani, who is trying to deal with the loss of their head coach John Calios, who was just ejected in the third quarter, early here in the third quarter. They face Batangas, Manila, and Cebu in their next 3 games this season. Coach Louis Gonzalez and the Ilagan Isabela Cowboys will be going up in a very exciting matchup against the Zamboanga Sikat. One part of this game that we have yet to see, especially Abra has dominated from start until this point.
Yeah, agree. And pretty much little to no resistance, except for that little run at the start of the third quarter para dito sa gripper. Pero after that, you know, it's all been back to how they started the game.
Lars Sunga went to college in Arellano University, played in the NCAA, made his way to the MPBL. He has been one of the go-to guys for this new-look Sarangani squad this season. We're used to seeing Sarangani in the past few years being a team that likes to play with a lot of pace, a team that likes to attempt a lot of three-point shots, a team that really usually scores a lot in every game. Kind of like the Phoenix Suns of Coach Mike D'Antoni back then.
Correct. And they like to take shots very early in the shot clock. And for the most part, it's really been threes. Kung unang available. And one of the reasons that they do that is because in the previous season, they had Brian Sowat, who was pretty good from that spot.
Ekitimenes as well was with them in that season of pace and space, as they like to call it. This year has been different para sa kanila, different pieces coming in.
some new guys still staying, but it's very different from the previous Sarangani squads of past. Where this guy has certainly had a big hand in changing the makeup of this squad and how they attack offensively.
Yeah. Tsaka itong Sarangani, you look at the players, you get one or two of them, put them in a very strong team. You know, they are going to be very good support team members for any team that picks them up. Scoring and guardia, forwards, guys can do it, just like what we saw from Diputado.
Diputado has been a great role player ever since I saw him play. Kabatch ko ito eh. I played for the NU Bulldogs and he was part of the national team with the RP Youth Squad in high school.
Nung nasa Beda siya.
Oo. Laging very solid ang pinapakita. Steady lang parati.
I'm not sure if inabot nila sila Arvin Tolentino ba? Noon
Yes.
Magkakasabay, ano?
Magkakasabay sila.
That was the batch of Beda na hirap kami. Makalaban kasi Beda Alabang
Coach,
kami.
huwag kayo mag-alala. Kami rin naman.
Oo nga, halos lahat naman. Fair enough.
Ay, buti nga kasi ilang beses lang namin sila nakalaban buong time ko nung high school eh. Pero each time we did, my goodness, karami kami parate. I mean, we were already one of the stronger teams in the UAP that time, but San Beda, I don't even think that they lost any game that entire high school stint of Arvin Tolentino's batch.
Sila Utoy Abarcar nandun din, no? That time? Or was he
Ahead na si
na?
Utoy.
Ahead na siya.
Arvin was with... Si Axel Inigo nag-transfer pa kasi sa kanila eh, from Perpetual.
Tama, kayo nga nila Hubert Cani magkakasama.
Yes. Which even bolstered their backcourt even more. Not like it was already strong enough.
Oh, wow.
Alfred Batino getting 2 points there, beating the shot clock buzzer. Diputado hit a 3-point shot earlier. 5 seconds on the third quarter clock. Diputado, step to the left, jumper that might have been blocked by Batino. And that's going to do it. Quarter number 3 in the books between Sarangani and Abra. It has been no different here in quarter number 3. 2 words, total domination by the Abra Weavers as we take a look at the highlights of the game. Brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
And this is another high-scoring quarter, a high of a 28-point quarter para dito sa Abra Weavers. Samantalang nag-struggle naman with 19 points. Ang Sarangani, a little bit better compared to their first 2 quarters, but go back by default to the lack of effort defensively. You're gonna trail big against the Weavers.
They are on pace to surpass their average of 82.8 points per game this year. Abra Weavers, we'll see how much more Abra can pad on to this advantage, or can Sarangani suddenly pull off a miracle. We'll be back. This is our LGR fan outfit of the game, brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. At tingnan natin ang mga titikas na mga mukha na nanonood dito sa loob ng Paco Arena here in the nation's capital, Manila City.
Always a good-sized crowd whenever we have games here, no? Sa Paco Arena.
It doesn't matter kung home game ng Manila or neutral grounds lang. Maganda parati ang reception ng mga tao ng Paco dito sa atin.
It just shows you the kind of love that they have for basketball.
Indeed. You see the quarter scoring in this game. Look how Abra has really dominated on both sides of the basketball.
Kitang-kita naman talaga yun. And if not, I guess if not for that strong start at the third quarter para dito sa Sarangani, they would still have produced roughly about 10, 11 points in the third. But you gotta build on that.
Will Lee, Redel Fabro, Jorel Gonzalez, Yusuf Taha, as well as Harley Baldo. They are the 5 on the floor to begin the fourth quarter para sa Abra Weavers. Al Sarangani, on the other hand, has Orin Katakutan, Rev Diputado, RV Bringas, Lars Sunga, and Martin Gozum. And you still continue to see Coach Yung Garcia coaching hard from that Abra sideline.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't stop coaching until you hear the final buzzer, regardless whether you're up or you're trailing. That really is just how a coach should be.
Many people will say, Coach, that bakit di nyo na lang hayaan yung isang team na makabalik ng konti. Marami magsasabi na maawa naman kayo ng konti, ganyan. Now, talk to us about the coach's perspective on that. Why do you not stop your team from trying to play hard until the final buzzer?
Well, because your effort really dictates how the outcome would be, either for the game or the season. You know, you cannot fall into complacency. Matter of fact, some coaches would tell their guys, the players, you know, don't even look at the scoreboard. Just keep executing. If we do right, then, you know, we go back at the next play and worry about the next play, and let's not celebrate too much of whatever good it is that we executed. So it's very important that to remain on the process than the score, so that later on when the big games come, you know, it's always going to be automatic and second nature to them.
Martin Gozum able to connect from the outside despite the outstretched arms of Jorel Gonzalez. Ngayon naman, we have Orin Katakutan taking some free throws. It has been a struggle of a debut game para kay dito sa laro na to. We were expecting him to try and match up well with Dave Ildefonso, but obviously Dave has had the upper hand together with the entire Abra Weavers squad, and able to suffocate and prevent players getting on an offensive rhythm in this game.
And no changes at all on the look of Coach Yung Garcia. Alam mo, hanggang ngayon, he's still, you know, shouting out instructions. He was not happy on the how things have been in some instances.
Diputado against Baldo. Bringas. Yes.
Namin matalo. Mismo, you know. Just that willing intent to win. Oh, good.
The Sarangani squad, Katakutan, will try for a fade away. That's no good.
Needless to say, this is kind of like the I'm still in the hibernate, but he's got to work his way back to who he was.
78-49. Remember, guys, this is just the first game of our Friday triple header. Wag po kayo madidismaya because up next is going to be a very exciting matchup. The Ilagan Isabela Cowboys will be facing the number 2 squad in the South currently, the Zamboanga Sikat. That's right after this game between Sarangani and Abra. And in our main game, it's going to be a battle of teams. At the bottom of the team standings, Quezon City and Manila should be a high-paced, high-octane game.
Yeah, agree. And that game is going to be very interesting. And ito, nakita mo, na-foul si Will Lee. Pero si Coach Yung talagang tinuturuan pa rin niya kung paano dapat ang maging reaction mo once you get to that particular spot on the floor. And he's letting these guys experience it on the floor, and so that come perform time, alam na nila, they get a feel of that situation.
Lee, he's the one orchestrating here. Baldo gets it inside to Fabro. Diputado was being physical with him, but Rev able to draw the offensive foul laban kay Redel Fabro.
Yeah. And I feel Redel Fabro, well, twice already we've seen that aggressiveness on his end. Maybe he got an earful from Coach Yung. So that change in personality and the end, ika nga sa kanyang paglalaro.
Well, I think he just wants to really draw that same kind. He's a guy who has managed to give, as we see Will Lee get a nice pass galing kay Marwin Taiwan. Redel Fabro is a guy that can bring a lot of energy and hustle and physicality as well. He's been quote-unquote like the bad boy of the other squads that he's played for.
Oo, totoo naman yun.
Top. But you see how strong this guy is built. And that's our assist of the game. Brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
And that cut of his from the weak side really is within the flow of the scheme of the Weavers. You know, and he understands that. Hindi siya nagsesettle na, you know, dito na lang ako sa labas, abangan ko na lang, siya naman ang titira. You really just gotta keep executing. And mind you, itong Weavers team na ito is one of those teams that is very high when it comes to, you know, game data and stats. You know, be it what you see on the FIBA Live stats or some of the immeasurables that they put a number on, so that later on they get to quantify that. Like maybe hustle, box outs, you know, these things.
Well, they have a very experienced coaching staff that is backing up Coach Yong Garcia each and every game, each and every practice. It is no doubt that they are working for one goal and one goal only, and that is to win the championship this season. Marvin Taiwan trying to help them in that goal. 83-51, and we're just approaching the halfway point of this final frame.
And they've gotten their 6 3-point make per pitch after 23 attempts, but not usual.
Check out our special deal from 1xBet when you scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Huwag niyong palalampasin yan, mga kaliga. 1xBet, our title sponsor this season. Sarangani getting that free throw to drop galing kay Lars Sunga. Baldo will come back in para kay Marvin Taiwan. Pinatikman lang ng konti ulit ng floor time si Marvin bago ilinabas ulit. I think he was just on the floor for around 2 minutes. Fabro all the way, but it's blocked there by Destacamento. Jorel Gonzalez pulls up. Jumper is short. Top put back, wala. And I think this is a golden opportunity for these homegrowns to be able to play with a PBA veteran in Yusuf Taha, a guy like Rodel Fabro, who is also a veteran here in this league. That just really fast tracks their development as players here in the MPBL.
And there is no better measure of performance than experience. I mean, for you to be in here and playing against those guys that you mentioned, iba yung karga as you go along and play more games.
Ito si Yusuf Taha, I'm just waiting for him to really play at a different level. I know that meron pa siyang maibubuga. I think he's just had to deal with some minor injuries at the start of this season. That's why he also has been in and out of the roster.
That's right.
Jorel Gonzalez putting in a three-pointer himself. So the homegrowns para dito sa Abra have been able to make a good account of themselves in this game. Earlier it was Enrico Garcia. Ngayon naman si Jorel Gonzalez. Willie also has had a stellar game.
And mind you, these guys, oh, what a fake.
Can he go back-to-back? Almost, not quite. Fabro is there for the offensive rebound. Nagkabuhol sila dun ni King Destacamento.
And the first guy that up from the bench to applaud the effort of the guys on the floor, guess who? Dave Ildefonso. And he's just been that kind of teammate and leader sa Abra Weavers.
You could tell from the way that he's been playing, the way that he has been responding in interviews with our courtside reporters, that he is just very happy to be here.
Oh yeah. Totoo yun. And nararamdaman mo yun. Oh, wow.
Oh, Will Lee also show touch from the outside.
Okay.
Why look elsewhere
Yeah.
when you have Jorel Gonzalez, Enrico Garcia, all three very capable outside shooters. Well, Yusuf Taha trying to show what he can do inside. But Sarangani gets an opportunity here. That's Kit Jimenez. It has really been a long afternoon para kay Kit today. Yusuf Taha will get a walk in the park there. 6 points in the game para sa kanya. And Abra is 7 points away from the century mark. May 3 minuto pa ang natitira dito. Yusuf Taha has mostly played here in the second half with the homegrowns of the Abra Weavers, and it has nothing been short of stellar para sa kanila.
50 ang numero, 100% maglilingkod para sa masang Pilipino. Edukasyon, hanap buhay at pabahay. Yan ang tututukan ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. I-shade ang number 50 sa harap ng inyong balota. Manny Pacquiao, Senador ng masang Pilipino. Number 50 sa balota.
The Ilagan Isabela Cowboys all primed and ready for their showdown against the Zamboanga Sikat in this almost packed Paco Arena here in Manila City. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. By the way, this is Sammy Palanya, joined by Coach Mike Perez. His lineup Punsalan is at courtside. Sarangani has had an incredibly long afternoon trying to score the basketball in this game. Only 19 made field goals out of 65 attempts. That's 29%. While Abra has been able to go 34 out of 77. There you see Art de la Cruz just in street clothes for their upcoming game against Zamboanga. He will not be available dahil sinabi ni Coach Louie when he had a word with us at halftime that masyado daw madiin yung pag-practice ni Art the past 2 days.
Go hard palagi yan si Art. But his numbers are MVP-like. I mean, doing Ilagan being there twice already for them to get that win against Batangas.
They have
yeah.
I'm hoping to visit soon when we go back there. That Capital Arena is world class.
Yeah. Ganda ng arena na yan.
Mentioned this that we talked about Art de la Cruz. Funny because right before the season, I was talking to Coach Louie Gonzalez. Kausap kami sa telepono. And he told me that he was indeed eyeing Art de la Cruz. Kaya lang, parang hindi daw matutuloy. Laking gulat ko, nung opening, ando na si Art.
Kasi madali rin lang yung nila, when they closed that acquisition of Art.
Of course, De La Cruz last year. Oh, Baldo! He too is showing what he can do here for Abra. This fourth quarter has been the domain of the homegrowns for the Weavers.
Now, at this point, I'd love to see a camera shot of Coach Yo.
Harley Baldo scoring his first basket, plus an opportunity for one more at the free throw line.
Almost everyone on the bench of the Abra Weavers either laughing or smiling with a lot of joy.
They enter the final 2 minutes of this one. This is only the second game, by the way, of Harley Baldo and Enrico Garcia. Those two guys getting a golden opportunity to prove what they can do on the floor. Si Will Lee, he's been able to play 6 games already prior to this.
One more.
Gonzalez couldn't connect. Baldo also giving Kit Jimenez a hard time in the backcourt. Destacamento floats and scores.
I think Destacamento is like a very graceful, I don't know, whatever you call it.
He's like a gazelle.
Oh, gazelle, right. Oh, man.
Wow.
Pablo getting in the act as well.
Everybody just chipping in whatever they can do para kay Coach Yong Garcia. I'm sure it's going to be very happy and joyful post-game huddle for these Abra Weavers. Everyone, almost everybody has been able to do their job and more in this game.
They want to get Taha on the board here. Oh, he got an offensive foul.
Bringas was able to draw that personal Taha. Junji Halyare with that pass to Destacamento. This is our play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Diputado has been able to connect here in the fourth para sa Sarangani, cutting the deficit to just 30.
Now, the last 6 points of Sarangani all have come from Red Lions. Diputado and Red Cub rather, and Diputado and Red Lion in itong si King Destacamento, San Beda, Alabang.
Naging player ba?
Naging player ko siya in a recreational league, but he was playing in college under Coach Aldrin Morante.
What about Harley Baldo? His confidence seemingly getting a shot on the arm after that basket and one opportunity that he had just a few possessions ago. He connects on this free throw. 4 points in the game para sa kanya. Nakahabol pa ng puntos. Previous to that and one opportunity earlier, he was scoreless. And he splits his charities. Shot clock is off and we are now in the final 20 seconds of this one. Diputado will try to salvage some pride here for Sarangani. Kit Jimenez, it's just been that kind of afternoon para sa kanya. Even the open looks. But Halyare able to connect there. 7 seconds to go, but Coach Yong has instructed Will Lee to just dribble this one out. And the Abra Weavers will extend their winning run to 7 games. One of the hottest teams in the league and in the Northern Division. Last time they lost was March 19. That's been a long time, and I'm sure Coach Yong Garcia is very happy with the way that they have been performing, especially this afternoon. It has absolutely been blockbuster, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and surely they will try and validate those shooters from the outside that they desperately need from the Abra Weavers.
Our best player of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. David Defonso getting another player of the game award in this one.
Yeah, 17 points on 4 of 11 shooting. 9 of 12 from the free throw line, got 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Just a complete package performance again from David Alfonso.
17 points in 17 minutes. How impressive is that? Let's go courtside to Miss Lana Punsalan.
Thank you, Javi. Dave, Abra is on its 7th-game winning streak. Definitely on the roll kayo. How do you translate games like this na some say is an easy win for you guys?
Pero gusto ko lang batiin Arwin, si Marion, Taiwan. Sobrang angas nun kasi kahit ako inaangasan nun eh. Pero happy graduation sa'yo and si Pastor Ferdy and si Thirdy Miranda, sabi ni Coach Denok. Sorry, yun nga, itong game na to, you know, it's more of a moral win and thankfully na walang nasaktan and protected kami lahat, pati yung kabilang team. So hopefully, itong game na to, mas makakuha pa kami ng momentum, especially in our next games.
And Abra is still on the 3rd spot in the North Division, Dave. Sino pa sa mga top teams yung inaabangan mo at ina-anticipate mong makalaban?
Honestly, inaabangan, you know, wala naman ako masyadong inaabangan kasi ang pinaka-focus ko talaga is yung team namin and paano kami mag-improve and you know, whoever is our next opponent, yun lang yung pinagpo-focusan ko really and pinagpo-focusan namin. So we just try to take it one game at a time and we don't try to look at the next few games.
You have a strong support system behind you. Ano pang gusto mong sabihin sa kanila?
Kay nanay and tatay, hello. Naka-best player na naman ako and sana sa next games makapanood kayo and sa girlfriend ko, si Lina and kay Nano, babae, Nano lalaki, hello. And kay Burlington, hello. Okay.
Maraming salamat, Dave Idelfonso of the Abra Weavers. Our best player of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Lyra. Congratulations again to David Defonso and the Abra Weavers. Up next, we have the 5-5 Ilagan Isabela Cowboys going up against the 8-2 Zamboanga Sikat. A battle between North and South Division squads for the 2nd game of our Friday triple header here at the Paco Arena. Keep it locked in here on the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.
Yan po ang aking commitment, hindi lamang po sa tao, kundi sa Panginoon na makapagserbisyo, makapaglingkod ako. Gawin na natin ang lahat ating magagawa, makatulong tayo sa kapwa para maipakita natin na na tayo ay may Panginoon sa buhay sa pamamagitan ng pagkalinga at pagmamahal sa kapwa natin. Kaya habang malakas pa tayo, habang mayroon tayo, tulong tayo sa kapwa natin.
Dili na to kay mga pong kalipay nga ikaw naghatag ka na mo og Pinoy-anan sa daghan pang mga tao. Dako gyud kayo mong pasalamat kay Sir Manny Pacquiao. Siya ang nakatabang sa among kalisod. Unsay kalisod na mo na siya mo tabang sa amoa. Dili lang kay kami daghan pa ayagi tabangan, dili kay balay lang, financial, grocery ana sa mga bata pud nga nanginahanglan pud og tabang para scholarship. Daghan kay ang gitabangan.
Ako po ay nagpapasalamat lalong-lalo na sa Panginoon at sa kapangalawa kay Manny Pacquiao dahil sa napakaganda ng puso niya. Bukod pa doon, binigyan niya kami ng bahay.
Yan po ang programa ko na yan. Hindi po yan proposal lamang, kundi matagal ko na pong ginagawa yan sa sarili kong bulsa, sa sarili kong pagsisikap, dugo at pawis ang aking puhunan para makapagbigay, makatulong ako sa aking mga kababayan. Ito talaga na maipasa, maipatas ang Free Public Housing Act, ma-implement at maraming mabigyan ng tahanan. Nagawa ko po yan na ako lang ang pera ng taong bayan na dapat mabalik sa inyo. Yan po ang aking ipinaglalaban.
Daghan kayong salamat Sir Manny Pacquiao sa imong kaayo sa amo. O God bless.
Pasalamat mi sa Ginoo sa Dios nga maluoy sa mga pobre nga sama sa amoa.
Salamat.
Pumili po tayo na isang kandidato na may tunay na malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga mahihirap at naiiwanan sa laylayan ng mga Pilipinang bawat mamamayang Pilipino na naghihirap, nagugutom na makapagtrabaho.
We are just stewards of strength, the blessings that God in us to help others para mag-glorify ang ating Panginoon sa buhay natin. In God, all things are possible. Nothing is impossible with God.
Itong pinaglalaban ko, samahan niyo po ako. Yun po ang hangad ko palagi sa pamilyang Pilipino na wala pong may iiwan. Higit sa lahat, magtutulungan tayo, magkakaisa tayo para po sa isang minimithi nating kaunlaran ng ating bansa.
I will see your goodness, Lord.